Serious fans who have been engrossed in a fictional universe so much you could probably earn a degree about it. What plot holes, logical inconsistencies, and the like cannot be reconciled and bother you to no end. My problem with Harry Potter is everything about Bertha Jorkins. People complain about time turners and things, but it's magic. Why shouldn't time travel exist, even if it's weird? The biggest plot hole in Harry Potter is the fact that this ministry lady who is working under Barty Crouch and is the one person who knows about Barty Crouch Jr. and is also super accident prone to the point that she can drop off the face of the earth and people will just assume that she got lost even though she can teleport, just so happens to be going on vacation in Albania of all places, and somehow wanders into wherever Wormtail and Voldemort are lurking. It's absolutely insane. People are reminding me that the reason she's accident prone is because she was obliviated by Barty Crouch. I think my point still stands. I love Itchy Amp, Scratchy, but in episode 2F09, when Itchy plays Scratchy's skeleton like a xylophone, he strikes the same rib twice in succession, yet he produces two clearly different tones. I mean, what are we to believe that this is some sort of a magic xylophone or something? Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
Hey guys, much like you, I love reading people's stories on Ask Reddit. Unfortunately, there's a lot of weird middle school level, just thought experiment type hypotheticals like nice try Baskin Robbins. I don't find this compelling, so that's why I've made it my mission to trawl and crawl through Ask Reddit and find the very best content and put it in your ears. That's why I'm begging you, like and subscribe. If there's anything I can do to help you out, give you the kind of content that you crave to help you get through your workday, let me know in a comment, but please like and subscribe.
The whole size thing has always weirded me out. The sizes of things never seem to add up to me. Like JKR, says Hagrid's hands are the size of trash can lids, but they'd be hugely disproportionate if Hess twice as tall as the average man. Like his hands would be more like dinner plates than trash can lids. And Therese some weird stuff with Hagrid's size versus Madame Maxime and Hagrid's size versus Grop. Also, what did his dad do when he was a baby? Ma took off already and now dad has this 100-pound infant to care for? Why the hell didn't the third Hokage tell Naruto about his parents? It would have chilled the kid out and actually he wouldn't be such a fucking turd and a nuisance. The third Hokage had a kid. He would know why a child is acting out. Why wasn't Iruka notified about that? It would have made so much sense. Holy crap, I didn't think this thing would blow up so casually. That's Reddit for you. I grew up with the Bay Transformers films, and while I'll always have a soft spot for the first three, holy shit, the lore might be the worst in all of fiction. In the first film, the Allspark, a cube that makes Transformers and the cause of the war, lands on Earth in the early 1900s, and it takes the Autobots and Decepticons 100 years to find Earth. Oh wait, no it doesn't, because they've been on Earth since at least the 1800s and never thought to look for the very thing the war was all about. Hell, the Primes, basically Transformer gods, built their Sun Eater in Egypt and were buried on the damn planet. How did they not write Earth down in any records if it was an important planet to them? Also, did you know that the Transformers were the cause of the space race? And that they were making deals with the CIA and NASA all the way back in the 60s? And they still didn't think to look for Megatron or the Allspark in that time period? Also, the government organization made specifically to research Transformers had no idea about any of that? Oh yeah. Transformers killed the dinosaurs too because Earth was actually being used to mine transformium, which is what Transformers are made out of. Oh yeah, about that, the Allspark did jack shit all along because other aliens made Transformers, so the war was pointless. And Primes are knights now, not gods for some reason. Speaking of knights, did you know that Transformers were at King Arthur's Round Table? They also fought in both World Wars, the American Revolution, they killed Hitler, served the Japanese Empire, etc. all along because why the fuck not? Also, a goddess named Quintessa made the Transformers, not those other aliens and not the Allspark, to fight Unicron. Who's Unicron? Well, Hess, the Thanos of the Transformers universe. And Hess been Earth all along. Yep, Earth was a Transformer too. Also, Cybertron, the planet they are from, is somehow still alright even though it got sucked into a literal black hole in Transformers 3 and blew the fuck up. Oh yeah. About that whole it took 100 years for Autobots to come to Earth thing? Well, not only was Optimus and the gang on Earth the whole time, they also forgot about that and didn't come to Earth till the 80s, which is still earlier than they arrived in 2007. So we have 3 different time points for Optimus' army coming to Earth, and 2 different time points for Megatron's. It's a fucking clusterfuck. They've overplayed their gritty wacky wasteland aesthetic. It's demoralizing to be forced to create a settlement out of cigarette cartons and dog shit. I just want a clean fucking floor and a house made of actual building material. Is that so fucking hard? The worst goddamn side mission was the Ghoul family in Fallout 4. Hey, can you go find my son? You find him down the street in a fridge. Like, you mean to tell me this kid spent 200 years in a fridge and no one bothered looking? Someone who knows their shit more than I do pointed out that according to Fallout lore, ghouls have to eat, so therefore the ghoul child may have not been stuck in the fridge for 200 years. Also, they age. Vulcans tend to be insular and not overly ambitious. When Spock was Kirk's first officer, it was very unusual for a Vulcan to be in Starfleet despite their role as co-founders of the Federation. They're just not that interested in it and seem to have handed over a lot of control to humans. I want to know how baby cars are born. How do they build anything? Are there living cranes who are born and die in this life, and only this life? Was Lightning born as a race car, or was he modified? How much of the car can you replace? Can a car have its entire engine replaced? How did they die in the first place? They can literally be repaired. How did Sally get a tramp stamp, and why was it showing like she was bending over, then never reappeared for the rest of the movie? I thought they were painted. Maybe I'm thinking way too much into this. Basically, you beat them to within an inch of their lives and then capture them into this tiny little ball. For the foreseeable future, their lives are consumed by that tiny space that they live in. It's all they come to know. The only time they come out is to battle other creatures. In this, they fight their absolute hardest to make their owners proud, because if they don't, then they don't get taken out into battle. So, getting taken into battle is positive reinforcement, getting left in the ball is negative reinforcement. So they bond with the trainer because they want to make sure they are getting every tiny little taste of freedom that they possibly can, even if it means risking life and limb fighting for a child's whims. They have Stockholm Syndrome and are being used as pit fighters.
This year, like I said, I'm having a midlife crisis. I've started a YouTube channel and I'm on a big health kick. One thing that I found is very easy to eat, very easy to prepare, is I heat up chickpeas with chicken broth and tikka masala. And there are two schools of thought about how you should eat beans. Some people believe you should buy the dry beans and soak them, but I tried that and it was a disaster. So I buy canned beans every time. And if I'm opening like 2 cans a day to be on this diet, it is a massive pain in the ass if the can has this jagged metal edge. You know, I'm worried if like little bits of metal are getting into my food, I'm going to slice up my intestines. So I found this special can opener that actually opens the can in a way that is completely safe, no metal's getting in your food, and it is 1,000 times better than any other can opener I've ever used. So if you wind up, opening a lot of cans for whatever reason, maybe you've got a cat or something, you must buy this can opener from my affiliate link.
A potential explanation for this, that I read somewhere, was that Harry's year was smaller and less populated than the others because when they were born, it was in the middle of a civil war between British wizards. Obviously, such circumstances would put anyone off from bearing a child, and so few people were born into that specific year, probably because memories can be wiped, altered and their brain function fully changed, and him getting Veritaserum wouldn't be able to make them tell the truth if it wasn't even in their brain anymore. They probably don't use it because they don't know if the brain had been altered, so there was no way to be sure. Just my theory. GT, yet not once does TWD group ever clear out a building first, they stumble into them and someone always either gets bit or nearly gets bit. They got into chest-high water to scavenge canned goods. FFS, lure out the dead and kill them before getting in the water. There's no way that group should have survived past Terminus. Avatar: The Last Airbender. During a specific scene during the near end of Book 3, Sokka, Toph, and Suki take over an enemy airship. They proceed to gather all the remaining enemies into a bomb bay, and drop them all into water. This airship then continues to fly, steer, ascend, and do everything without any crew. This is a giant hot air balloon made of metal, and scenes showed all different kinds of workers from engineers to communications. How the hell did it fly flawlessly with only a captain? Imagine how much easier it would have been too if wizards weren't assholes and joined the rest of society. Make a space shuttle out of one of those tents that's 10x bigger inside. Shrink down fuel cells and food until they're needed to cut down on weight. Magically oxygen seal the shuttle. The list goes on. But oh, wizards are so sophisticated because they can make pots that clean themselves. Yeah, this is the answer I came to. Also, the Syndicate isn't just trying to block the aliens from invading, they're trying to stall it from happening while they develop ways to fight the aliens. There are more than a few EPs that show secret government projects like alien craft and other things that can be used as weapons. One of my more outlandish ideas was that the X-Files were secretly endorsed in order to try and find occult or other paranormal ways to fight off the aliens. I don't think it's ever directly mentioned, but I'm pretty sure that the X-Files were also plausible deniability and/or a way to distract the aliens further to throw them off what the Syndicate was doing on the side. The fact that there are 2 Rumpelstiltskins in the Shrek universe really annoys me, and many people seem to not have noticed. We all know the Rumpelstiltskin from the last movie, but in Shrek the Third, when Prince Charming enters the poison apple and starts talking to other villains, he actually talks to Rumpelstiltskin, but it's not the same that appears in Shrek Forever After. In American Dad, Toshi only speaks Japanese despite the rest of his family only speaking English. He can understand English perfectly fine, but on the rare occasion he tries to speak it, he messes up. At one point he is shown being haunted by an ancient samurai ghost who speaks to him in Japanese. Toshi apparently is unable to understand him since he responds with nonsense. The writers have not really explained this issue. In the wrestling episode, Toshi's glasses are knocked off and land on a random jock spectator who immediately begins to play a violin, the instrument Toshi is shown playing at home on occasion. I'm convinced that his glasses are cursed and give him all of his stereotypical traits and converts his speech into Japanese. I need closure. I'm currently quarantined watching all 15 seasons. Currently on season 9. The thing about Supernatural is that once it was unexpectedly renewed after the 5th season, the original story arc by Eric Kripke, it went into uncharted territory. It learned not to take itself too seriously, sorta like SG-1. Plot holes all over the place, but we're just going to have fun with it. And I love Lucy. I was always bothered by the same character being named Carolyn Appleby and Lillian Appleby interchangeably, and in season 4, the Hollywood arc, both within a handful of episodes of each other. Also, for the longest time, since she rediscovered her saxophone, Lucy only ever knew how to play Glowworm until they moved to the country, and when practicing with Fred, Ethel and little Ricky, she said the only song she ever knew was Sweet Sue. Which brings me to my next point. In that same episode, Ethel is bad at the piano and said she only ever learned the song Comin' Round the Mountain and never learned Sweet Sue. Problem is Ethel was good at the piano. She played and sang Sweet Sue with Fred, Ricky, and Lucy in an early season. It wasn't until a later season when she and the Wednesday Afternoon Fine Arts League formed an orchestra that she lost her ability and could barely play 12th Street Rag. Also, everyone and their mother on that show had one of 2 phone numbers, Circle 72099 and Murray Hill 59099. Also, Freddie Fillmore, the actor's mannerisms inspired the East's guy on The Simpsons, has met Lucy and Ricky multiple times on multiple iterations of his radio programs, Mr. and Mrs. Quiz, Females Are Fabulous, etc. Either he's horrible at keeping one on the air consistently, or he was that era's Ryan Seacrest.
Do you have any idea how convenient it is to use a Keurig machine for brewing coffee or tea? Personally, I gave up coffee a long time ago, but I was able to get a great, delicious cup of coffee in just seconds with no cleanup, no extra work, using a Keurig machine and a K-cup. And now I use my Keurig machine to brew tea, loose leaf tea, every day that I drink. And I also use it to make oatmeal and, anything else that you can put hot water into. So if you don't have a Keurig machine in your house, you're missing out. Try my affiliate link below in the description of the video, and you too can enjoy a great cup of coffee in seconds, any time of day.
The Enclave was gathering the data. That was pretty explicit in Fallout 2. The cancelled version of Fallout 3 said they were planning to use it for long-duration interstellar transit. The Enclave had a plan to launch out into space, spends hundreds of years isolated on a generation ship, before reaching a new planet to colonize. So they want to know what worked and what didn't. Of course the Enclave got basically wiped out, so that never happened. Warcraft. Uther and Tyrannus might just be the most slow and useless characters in the history of the franchise, and Arthas might just be the most efficient man I ever read about. 1. Arthas wants to kill everyone in the city. Uther disagrees. Arthas strips him of his titles and calls his actions treason. 2. Uther doesn't lift finger to stop Arthas or protect the people in the city. 3. Instead of going directly to the king, he waits 3 days to see if Arthas really acted upon his word and to discover where he went. 4. Arthas created an expedition with soldiers, supplies and ships without the king knowing in only 3 days. 5. 1 month later, he explored the region, rescued a dwarf expedition, destroyed an undead base and set up an entire base for his forces. 6. Only after all that, the emissary arrived to recall the army. Either with a zeppelin or with a portal, both methods faster than boats, actually the reverse. I cannot get over how the not taking the eagles in Lord of the Rings is considered a plot hole. The literal whole theme of the movie is that Sauron is searching for the ring, and that they're secretly taking it to destroy it. They can't have him know that they're taking it back to his lair to destroy it, and he doesn't suspect where they're going because he can't imagine anyone who wouldn't keep that type of power. If they flew in guns blazing on the eagles, all would be lost, not the least of which the very theme of the story, that sometimes the smallest and the most humble are the ones needed most. It kills me when people step all over the movie this way. 1. Did you not pick up on any underlying, obvious Tolkien theme? And 2. Gandalf tells them like 800 times to keep the ring secret and safe. Dear mercy, people. Aw. Thank you so much, Op, for finally giving me a place to say this and subsequently be ripped to shreds because people won an Iglafell beast aerial battle that would have wrecked everything Tolkien stood for. I know him. We commune through the trees. Paw Patrol. So hear me out, I have 3 kids, oldest 10, youngest 2. I have been watching this show for a very long time. Every episode is an inconsistency. Let's just put aside the fact that an entire city leaves their emergency services to a group of puppies and a 12-year-old who seems to not have parents. Why do these puppies talk and the kittens do not? Also, they keep adding puppies, Everest, Tracker, the pirate pup. Do all dogs talk? Now they have superpowers in some episodes. Why do the puppy cars have steering wheel?
Hey guys, do you ever have a problem getting to sleep at night? Well, I've got the magic pill to cure your insomnia. Much like you, I used to twist and turn all night. But then I discovered that you can take melatonin and Valerian Root together to get a good night's sleep every single night. I've been taking it every night by for years and years. I've been taking Valerian and melatonin, and this is my life hack to get a good night's sleep and vivid dreams every night. So be sure to click my affiliate links, and I will give you the gift of a good night's sleep.